In an ever-evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emmanuel Rose.
Welcome to this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. We're kicking off the Agent Series or AI Agents today with Erich Archer, who's an Emmy award-winning creative executive, AI innovator, and video production expert with over 20 years of experience in storytelling and cutting-edge media. As the founder of CGA Creative and creator of Smarty Pants, an AI-powered ecosystem, Erich combines his expertise in generative AI with a passion for crafting bold, original content that drives engagement and innovation. Whether leading nonprofits, consulting with top brands, or exploring the future of AI-driven storytelling, Erich is dedicated to helping others unlock their creative potential and embrace the disruptive power of AI. Welcome to the show, Erich.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here and chat with you.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking some time today to have a conversation, and I'm really excited to hear about what the Smarty Pants ecosystem is and how that's going to change business.
Sure. Well, I'm happy to jump right in. Smarty Pants is it sounds fancier and even looks fancier than it is. Smarty Pants doesn't sound very fancy. That was on purpose. But it's to call it an ecosystem of custom GPTs, well, what the hell is that? Custom GPTs are just little wrappers on ChatGPT. They're just little things that I started to use early on to sort of bottle up prompts and not have to remember them and go looking for them. If it was something I was going to do regularly, a prompt I was going to use regularly.
Sure.
I found that just making a custom GPT with that, and it, essentially would just make it a tool that I could go back to. And
so just for clarity's sake, custom GPT, how is that different than just having a conversation for a long time in a single chat thread?
Well, so you can have a long conversation with these custom GPTs, and basically it's like when you're prompting Chat GPT, you're saying things, like you're assigning it a role. You're saying, you're going to be my marketing consultant. Well, we talk about this idea, and then you're giving it a task, maybe like help me think about this marketing plan. Right. And you're trying to figure out good prompts to ask it to get good responses. And that's how the conversation with ChatGPT goes. And so I just, if I was going to have a conversation like that regularly, I might go make a custom GPT. And all that is going into that section of ChatGPT where you can do this and saying, you're a custom GPT that is a marketing expert that helps me with my marketing plans. And whatever, other information you have decided to bake into that transaction.
So you're essentially giving it a kind of a permanent conversation context and role.
Exactly.
And maybe some KPIs or directives for outcomes.
Exactly. And I just found that was a nice, easy way to make these little tools. And it's super simple. Anyone can do it to just, wherever I was going to have that repetitive conversation. And then, after a while, I made a bunch of these things, and I just found that being a visual person, I needed a more visual interface than ChatGPT was giving me. Right. ChatGPT just had them all listed down the sidebar, and I wanted more of a dashboard kind of experience, with all these things that I had made. Probably 50 or so is when I started to think about this. And I had encountered this other tool. I get these newsletters, you probably get them, that show you all the new fun tools that are out. And Whimsical was one of those. And Whimsical is just a really great infinite whiteboard where you can sort of like mood board anything. You can throw text and pictures and GIFs and whatever else you want up there. And it's a nice way to kind of like ideate. And at some point I thought, you know what, maybe I'll just stick all my GPTs there, and then I can kind of move them around and like figure out how to organize them and stuff. And I can also put the links there to them, which is cool.
Yeah.
So, okay, now I've got 50 GPTs in one place with a visual interface and links to each one. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is like a platform,
Right. Yeah.
And so then I started to think about, well, how, along the way, actually, I'd thought about and made some for others. How could I make them just for the public? I would often make these and be like, oh, well, this is useful to everybody. And I would make them public and share them with LinkedIn or whatever.
Right.
And I started to think about a way to do that in a templated way. So how could I just sort of like press a button and have one of these things made that does a certain thing? And I started to figure out like, okay, if I wanted to do a SWOT analysis, which is a pretty common business framework,
sure,
where you're at.
Right.
ChatGPT knows what that is. I don't have to explain what a SWOT analysis is to ChatGPT. So
right.
I don't need any training really. Everyone talks about how you got to train these models. Well, it knows what a SWOT analysis is.
Right. It just needs to know which path to go down, what's the context, right, and what are we trying to achieve, right?
Right. And so, okay, it occurred to me, well, if I could just make it ask me in a Q&A way for the information it would need to conduct the analysis, then right, by the end, it can do the analysis. Like, I don't even have to tell it. I just have to say, make a SWOT analysis. So I figured that out and then did that times 150 frameworks, basically.
Nice.
And made these all available for people for free. And so now there's a couple hundred, I think, of these things that do all kinds of different well-known frameworks.
Such as, give us another one besides the SWOT analysis.
There's categories now. There's communication ones, analysis ones, research ones, all kinds of different things that are very sort of fundamental exercises, mental models, frameworks you might go through in that category. So you might need to do a gap analysis, or you might need to do a pestle analysis, or you might need a content strategy, or like all kinds of different things that you can see in there. But it becomes very easy to put all that into ChatGPT and be like, where could this go next? And think of the next 10,000 of these things. And so now I'm starting to collaborate with others. And if people have proprietary steps, like this one marketer I've been working with has a proprietary 11-step product market fit exercise he does with his clients. Well, cool. Let's make that one, and we can co-market that.
Yeah.
Or like my real estate buddy wants to make some for real estate, and so we mapped out some for brokers, some for brokerages, and it becomes very easy to figure this out and then engage this. Okay, just do the Q&A thing with me, so that you get the personal information out of me that I would need to do this.
Yeah.
And then you walk away with that output of whatever it is. So, it's just, that's all it is really, is just a whole bunch of those little baby wrappers that I've put out there for people. And you can get a link through Gumroad, which is this other cool site I found where you can put digital products,
right,
and you can make it free, but pay what you want, which I thought that's cool for Smarty Pants, because I don't know what this thing is worth and I want people to try it out. So let me put it there, and maybe some other day I'll charge for it, and I can charge for the collaboration separately. And so it's just all just sort of happened this way. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, no, it's a really interesting way that you have taken the ChatGPT and then built some structure to it, so that it's more straightforward for people to interact with it than just having kind of that blank canvas. So what are like some of the most popular frameworks that you've had people use and get results from?
Well, probably the SWOT analysis is where everybody starts, or not. I shouldn't say that. I mean, one of the challenges with it is feedback. I didn't build this platform really. It just sort of came together, and so I don't get a lot of the back end analysis you might hope for.
Yeah.
But people mention that one to me quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, I put some recipes out there, I call them, where are just sort of like combinations of these things for common roles. Like if you were trying to make a name for yourself at a large corporation, which ones might you want to use first? Which half a dozen of them might apply to you. Or if you have a startup, which 4 or 5 would you want to try out? So I'm trying to tee these up for people, contextually.
Right.
But yeah, the back end feedback is sort of like only as people decide to send it to me.
Yeah, I get you. We're gonna, I guess, have to build a framework for the feedback.
Yeah.
The final question will be: send your comments to Eric.
Yeah, please do. I'm starting to figure that out, how to like introduce myself at the beginning and provide links and stuff. And now I have a concierge in the middle that knows all of the links to all of them, and you can ask it. You can just go there for starters and say, "Hey, what the hell is all this?" And it can say, "Well, what are you into?"
Right.
And kind of guide you through it, and then it'll give you one link per conversation. I've encountered a few bugs with it, but for the most part, it works pretty well. So I've left it there for now. It's about 9 out of 10 times you'll get the right output out of that. So it's pretty interesting.
Well, what else are you leveraging ChatGPT or other AI tools for in the work that you're doing?
Well, I did jump on the $200 a month OpenAI subscription, and I have been using deep research and search and the task manager as much as possible, because I figure that's what I'm paying for.
Yeah.
I should be trying to push that every day, those components that are new and fancy. And they're going to mark another big shift. I feel it's pretty interesting. Operator is so I got Operator, I've got Sora, I've got deep research, like search with the pro mode. I mean, it's such an insanely powerful set of tools. And I realized that task manager, so I can go into a conversation with ChatGPT and be like, this is my industry, and I want to know all the today's news from my industry, these kinds of sources. I like these kinds of insights. Really refine, what you're into with ChatGPT. And then you can say, hey, task manager, can you just do this search for me every morning and then email it to me? Like, holy shit. Excuse my language, but I just made myself the most personalized newsletter in seconds, and I can do that all day. Like, hey, send me the next one at 9:15 about every film festival that is accepting entries, or what. Like, that's a crazy thing to be able to I've been waiting for this ability to just converse with agents,
right?
Because I don't know how to code. It's like, I know it's coming. I know I'm going to be able to just be like, hey, go do this thing. And it feels like it's here now. And
well, that's cool. So I love that the newsletter feature, right? Which is you no longer have to click around and figure out where you're going to go and grab information from. What other kind of tasks have you created like that for yourself?
Well, using deep research, I'm just thinking about like, okay, maybe a step 2 to like going out and getting today's headlines with the search feature, which is different. Go get powerful search on today's information, right? Yeah. Maybe a step 2 is to take deep research and go give me a 7-minute deep research session on contextualizing today's news. Like, take today's news and just give me the deep research version of it. Like, beef it up like with everything around it. I would need to know to be a genius about these topics today.
Right. Yeah.
So like, just trying to think about, okay, how should I use a phenomenal research tool? Like, where in my workflows would that, like, it's just, that's all it is like this incredible research assistant now.
Right.
And so where do you need research? What do you're like, what are you researching? And then just, and then you can put that in steps. So rather than working in modular GPTs the way that I have been, now I think about it in steps. Like, okay, maybe I need a super prompt for search, followed by a super prompt for deep research, followed by a GPT that's going to take today's news that is now radically contextualized, and maybe I make a GPT. Well, this is what I've done. I made a custom GPT that is a hybrid of my favorite analysts.
Right.
And I say, analyze this new information. Right. So now I've got today's news hyper contextualized, analyzed by my favorite analysts, and given to me in this markdown format. I can do whatever I want with.
That's been emailed to you, right?
I now have this insight engine that I can now take to my content engine, and I can make social media posts with this insightful stuff. I can make a blog. I can make videos. I can do whatever I want because I've got the best raw material you could want.
Right. Yeah. That's pretty powerful. And if you can get it so that you just set it up one time and then it's being delivered to you, then you've leveraged the technology correctly, I think. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, just trying to make it do what it's good at. These things are not all in one tool. Right. So I try to go to each tool for what it's best at.
Right. Yeah. And like you said, as not being a coder, that's what's so amazing about this time is that these no code or low code solutions that we have access to allow us to connect up all these disparate pieces of software even and then get delivery in a way that is valuable to us to get on with our day, essentially.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I mean, to think about I think about it like I want my presidential morning briefing.
Right.
Like the daily dossier handed to me, like, here's the whole thing, man. It's done for you. It's all today's greatest hits,
I love it. Well, I love the work that you're doing with the custom GPTs and structuring these really fundamental activities. So that's really cool to see. How do people get access to these? What's the little link to get in there?
You can find the link to all my AI stuff on my portfolio site. It's cgacreative.com.
Cool.
And there'll be a whole page about Smarty Pants and a link to take you to Gumroad where you can get it for free and jump in there. And please let me know how it goes.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Erich. The best way to get you, we'll get that link put into the show notes. And I want to reach back out to you in 4 or 5 months and see how you've changed as the technology changes. So
yeah, I'd love that. Love that.
All right, good. I appreciate your time this morning, and hang on while we close out the show for me.
Thanks for the opportunity.
You bet. Well, there you go. Love it. I love what Erich's doing with customizing the GPTs, but then also creating these tasks so the agents are doing the work for him for these consistent flows of information. Could be around news of the day, could be around quarterly trends. So you set these up every quarter, you get industry information, and then build a GPT that says, take these trends that are coming in the next 6 to 9 months and build a product for me, build a service for me that will match my customer database that you've uploaded into that GPT. So it's a great solution that Erich's created. And I hope it start to trigger some ideas for you about how to task out repetitive activity and get high value from them. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emmanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.